Oh, hey guys. Yes, if you can tell from the scary music playing and this weird fucked up chair I'm sitting in, today we're going to be trying something a little bit different. So I want to start a series on my channel where I talk about some of my favorite urban legends. So an urban legend is something that a lot of people know about, people talk about, but there's no actual proof that it's real. Kind of like a story that we've all heard a million times from a million different people, but nobody ever really knows if it's real or not. Well, today we're going to be talking about one of my favorites, which is the urban legend of the black-eyed children. So over the last 20 years, there's been a lot of people saying that they've encountered the black-eyed children. And every time somebody tells one of their encounters, it always sounds the same. A child comes up to them and asks for help. Sometimes they'll come to your door, sometimes if you're in a car, they'll come to your window. And the second they come up to you, you start to feel scared. You start to have a panic attack. You start to feel like you can't really move, like they have a hold over you. They're usually dressed in dark clothes, sometimes a hooded sweatshirt, and sometimes they come with a black-eyed friend. First, they request something, whether that's for them to come in, whether that's for a ride, whether that's for you to help them call somebody. And if you say no to them, they'll come back a little stronger. They'll say, "You have to let me in." Or they'll say, "You have to help me." Or they'll say, "Please, I need to call this person. You're the only person that can help me." And a lot of people that deal with them say that they subconsciously start to help without even wanting to. Like they'll slowly move their arm toward the window to unroll it. Or they'll slowly open the door for the kid to come in. It's almost like the kid is making you do it with their mind. And at the last second before you finally give in to them, they lift up their hood and they show their black eyes. Now once you see those black eyes, you're fucked. You're probably going to let them into your place, and they're probably going to do whatever they do with you. Nobody really knows, because most of these encounters have happened where people have caught themselves and then slammed the door or drove the car away. Now over the last 20 years, there have been hundreds of encounters, and a lot of people have told their story online. They told their story to the cops, to friends, to anybody who will listen. I read one of these stories and it scared the shit out of me, so I'm about to read it to you guys right now. It was March 17th, 2008, and I was 12 years old. I was sitting outside of a hairdresser's salon in my mom's old pickup truck waiting for her to get her hair cut. After 15 minutes passed, I saw some kid walking back and forth along the sidewalk in front of my car. Then he noticed me. He turned his head toward mine and started slowly walking toward my car. He got up to the window and just stared at me. I looked into his eyes and his pupils were black. He whispered, "You must let me in." I locked the car doors and ducked down into the space below the seat. 5 minutes later, he was gone. When my mom came back to the car, she told me that a boy with black eyes had come into the hairdresser salon and asked for my mother to give him the keys to her car. She refused. Thank God she did. Can you imagine a little boy coming up to your window trying to get into your car and then finding out later that he asked your mom for the keys? That's the scariest thing I've ever heard. That's almost as scary as those kids who stand outside of the store with those chocolate bars and they're like, "Please buy this chocolate, it'll help me go to college." Black-eyed children, I don't trust them. In England, most of the encounters with the black-eyed children happen in the Canuck Chase Forest. A guy was flying his drone camera over the forest one day, just trying to get like some aerial shots of the forest, and he saw something that looked odd. Check it out for yourself. So then, after he noticed, he decided to get a closer look. I'm not saying it's real, I'm just saying it scared the shit out of me. This next video was taken off of a TV. Now, it was from the news. There was a really bad motorcycle accident, a family of 3 died, and the lady was talking on the news, and then somebody saw in the background, in the cornfield, there was a black-eyed child. Now, where this was, this area that this was happening, there had been a lot of reports of black-eyed children. So somebody saw this on the news, and they videotaped it and zoomed in. Check it out. I don't know about you, but that gave me the chills. I don't know. Every time I think about it, like imagine watching the news and then in the background being like, wait a minute, isn't that a black-eyed kid? Whew. Now the last thing I'm going to talk about with this theory is my own personal story. So I have never really talked about this because I thought people would think I was crazy. I didn't know what the black-eyed children theory was until like a year ago. So this is back when I was living in Long Beach and I was probably in high school, and it was like really late at night, probably like 11:30 p.m. My mom was gone, I was the only person home, and there was a knock on my door. So I opened my door and it was a girl, probably like 12 years old, really young, and she was wearing sunglasses. She asked me if I wanted to buy a magazine subscription. Which, I had had that happen to me before, like people wanted me to buy magazines or whatever, it's like a door-to-door thing. But she didn't have anything with her, and when I asked her, I was like, "Oh, where's like your book of magazines?" She said, "I don't have one. Do you want to help me?" And I was like, "What?" So I told her no, and then she said, can I come inside? And I was like, no, I don't understand. What do you want to come inside for? You don't have the magazines. It's 11:30. I don't know what you want. And then really serious, she just said to me, please, I want to come inside. I was so freaked out that I couldn't breathe. I felt like I shut down. I was just staring at her. I didn't know what to do. I started panicking. She started slowly moving closer to me. I was almost slowly opening the door for some fucking reason. And then when I caught myself, I was like, my mom's coming home, no! And then I slammed the door. Now after that happened, I didn't really think much of it. I told my mom about it and I was like, some little girl was here. It was really weird. I feel like maybe her mom was forcing her to do this to get money. It was Long Beach, so a lot of stuff like that was happening. It wasn't until years later when I thought about it and I heard about this, urban legend, I was like, wait a minute, was she wearing sunglasses to cover her black eyes? And what if the next step, if I said no again, what if she was like, oh really? I would have been done. So, who knows? But that was my little experience with the black-eyed children, maybe. Let me know down in the comments if you've ever had any experiences. Tell me some stories. Have you ever heard any stories? Has anybody in your family ever had an experience? Let me know. All I know is I believe in a lot of crazy shit, and there's something about this that just feels real to me. And I know that sounds crazy, but I don't know. Just feels real. Alright you guys, I'm gonna go. Hopefully you enjoyed the first episode of me talking about urban legends. Let me know down in the comments what other urban legends you want to hear about. Also give this video a thumbs up and subscribe because I make new videos every single day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Watch out for the black-eyed children. They're coming. What the hell's in it? Alright, let's open her up. Let's do a dissection. Oh, okay, so it's meat, potato, onions, some boogers, some angry employee loogies, and some tears. Oh, okay, it's not bad. Oh hey, what's up you guys? Yes, today is going to be another day where we talk about urban legends. And today's urban legend is one of the scariest to me because it's one that affects me personally on a pretty much nightly basis. Today we're going to be talking about shadow people. A shadow person is kind of like a ghost, but a little bit different. Now the legend of shadow people has been around pretty much since the beginning of time. Shadow people are usually seen when you wake up in the middle of the night. They have the shape of a man, but they don't have any of the features. They're basically all black. They appear out of nowhere, and they can disappear in a second. They can dart from one corner of the room to the other. Sometimes it feels like they're not even walking, they're just floating. And sometimes they can crawl up onto your bed, sit on your chest, and stare at you. But because they don't have any eyes, it's even scarier. It's just a figure right in front of your face. Some people think the reason that shadow people are here is to watch us or guard us, kind of like a guardian angel. Others believe it's a little bit darker. Now there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people who have talked about witnessing shadow people. They have written blogs about it. They have had video interviews about it. There's been documentaries about it. And all their stories are kind of the same. They wake up in the middle of the night. They look out of the corner of their eye. They see something standing there. When they see it, they are frozen in fear. They can't move, their heart starts to race, they feel like they can't speak, they can't breathe. All they can do is stare at the shadow and hope to God it goes away. And then they close their eyes as hard as they can, open it back up again, and it's gone. Now some people have said that the shadow person they see is wearing a large hat. People believe that the hatted figure is more evil. It is not here to protect you, it is not here to watch you, it is here to get something from you. In some cases, people have seen this hatted figure so much that they don't want to sleep, so they take caffeine pills. Some of them have ended up in institutions because they can't deal with it. And a lot of doctors think it's a medical disorder, or maybe it's our eyes playing tricks on us, but honestly, I don't think that's what it is. Here's one man's experience. It was 1995. I was in bed, asleep, when I felt my torso moving slightly up and down. When I awoke, I saw a shadow on top of me, straddling me. I looked at it. It had no features or gender, just a silhouette of a person. It was pitch black. I glanced really fast around the room, trying to compare it to the darkness that was around me, but nothing could match it. When I focused back at it, it leaned forward, stared at me face to face. I turned my head to one side and screamed as loud as I could. All the dogs started barking. At the same time, it sat upright and lunged into my chest. At that moment, I prayed so hard. Then the figure was gone. Since then, I've had no reoccurrence. Now obviously there's not much video evidence of shadow people because, I mean, people can't just grab a camera in the middle of the night. There was one video I found of a shadow person walking through a store in the middle of the day. Now listen, I don't know how real this is, but it's interesting nonetheless, so check it out. I don't know. I know it looks kind of fake, but it still makes me really creeped out. But the videos I am going to show you today are more related to something called sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis is a phenomenon where people are either falling asleep or just waking up and they aren't able to move. They can't speak, they can't react, they're literally stuck in their body. But their mind is working and they're awake, they can hear what's going on around them. So if you've never experienced this, imagine you're sleeping and then you start to wake up and you open your eyes and you see your room and you're like, okay, time to get up for the day, but you can't move. And you're trying to move as hard as you can. And you're trying to move your fingers, but you can't move your fingers. And you're trying to scream, but you can't scream. You're trying to tell somebody to wake you up, but they can't wake you up. It's honestly the most terrifying thing I've ever felt in my entire life, and I get it like 4 times a week. Now some doctors say that you could get it more if you suffer from anxiety, if you sleep on your back, if you have a bad sleeping schedule, like if you fall asleep during the day, whatever it is, I get it a lot. Here's one man showing his experience and showing what he looks like while he's going through it. Check it out.
And look at my leg, it's twitching, so I'm starting to wake up, but my eyes aren't open just yet. And so you're going to also start to hear my breathing become more and more labored as I start to panic, basically. And I'm trying to make noise. You can see me shaking just a little bit, my fingers going, keep an eye on the fingers, and my head as well starts to twitch. I'm trying to speak or call out to the nurses, but it's just coming out as a kind of a snorting snore. There's my finger moving, and my eyes are open now, and you're going to start to see my head try and move. There you go. And this is what it looks like, kind of like a seizure. And you can see my eyes going, and I'm just getting more and more panicked. And then finally, and then it's over. In one last burst of energy, it's gone.
And that's exactly how it is. And sometimes it's even worse. I've had sleep paralysis last for like an hour. Now, a lot of people have linked sleep paralysis to seeing shadow people, except for it is commonly referred to as the night hag. So the night hag is basically just another term for shadow person. And it's when you're having sleep paralysis and you open your eyes and you see this person sitting on top of you, staring at you, holding your chest down. She makes it hard for you to breathe, impossible for you to move. It's almost like she's grabbing onto your whole body, keeping you where you are. So obviously doctors are trying to figure out why this happens. Maybe sleep paralysis triggers something in your brain to make you see things or hallucinate, but there hasn't been any actual real proof. So personally, what I feel is when you're in that state and you're that vulnerable where your body is like not moving, but your mind and your soul are, it's not surprising that ghosts or shadows or whatever would want to come and see you. A lot of alien abductions also take place during that time. It's what a lot of people who've been abducted say, that they were having sleep paralysis when it happened. I don't know, it's all really scary. Now for my personal experience, if you've been watching my channel for a while and if you read my book, you would know that I have dealt with it for pretty much my whole life. I put up a short film on this channel a couple months ago, I'll link that down there. But basically I was younger, I was like 13, 14 I think, when I first started experiencing astral projection, which I'll talk about in a different video. But there was an experience that happened, I think when I was around 22 I think, and I was in bed and I opened my eyes and I saw this dark shadow. But I was also astral projecting. That sounds very confusing. Whatever. I got into a battle with this shadow and it was cold and it was evil and it was this long battle and it was floating through the air and I was floating with it, and then I finally woke up into my body, and honestly it was the most intense, insane experience of my life. And I explained it very badly, so go watch the short film. But another experience I had was with my grandma. So she was at my house one night and I was sharing a bedroom with her. I was on the floor, she was in the bed. In the middle of the night, I woke up to go to the bathroom and I looked over at my grandma on her bed and she was shaking. I turned on the light and I was like, Grandma, what's wrong? She told me that when she woke up, she saw a shadowed man standing right in front of her bed. She said she couldn't move. She said she couldn't breathe. She said she was panicking. She said she couldn't talk. She said that when I said, Grandma, what's wrong? It went away. Now listen, my grandma was not a spiritual person. She didn't believe in ghosts. She didn't believe in any of that shit. So for somebody like her to experience that, that must have been very real. So tell me your story. Have you ever experienced shadow people or sleep paralysis? Let me know down in the comments. Also tell me what urban legend you want me to talk about next. Alright you guys, I'm gonna go. Hope you had fun scaring with me. I had fun scaring with you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe because I make new videos every single day, and give my video a thumb up. Alright guys, have a good night's sleep and good luck.
Is there a toy inside?
Yeah, you just go.
No. Or you can just open it. Literally just open it.
I did it!
Oh!
That was very nice. That was stupid. Okay. Hey, what's up you guys? Yes, today we're going to be talking about another urban legend. And today's urban legend is very, very scary to me because it involves one of my favorite things in the whole world, which is candy. But then it takes my favorite thing in the whole world and combines it with my least favorite thing in the whole world, which is somebody who's actually going to kill me. And there's a lot of those people. Yes, today we're going to be talking about the Candyman. So the Candyman is an urban legend about a ghost of a slave who comes back for revenge if you say his name 5 times in a mirror. So legend goes that many years ago there was a slave named Daniel Robitel, and he worked on a plantation in New Orleans. He was actually an incredible painter, and the plantation owner realized that, so he asked him to paint a portrait of his daughter. Well, while Daniel was painting the photo, he fell in love with the daughter and they started to have a love affair. But when the plantation owner found out about it, he got really fucking pissed, and he got all of his friends to create an angry mob and chased Daniel out of town. Daniel hid inside of a barn and they found him, and what they did to him next was awful. They cut off his right hand with a rusty saw, and then they covered him in honey and they threw him at a beehive. So now when you call the Candyman and see him in the mirror, what you're gonna see is a guy covered in honey, covered in sores, and has a hook for a hand. Now a lot of people have experiences with the Candyman, just like they did with Bloody Mary, and they go to the internet to tell their story. This is a story of somebody that says that this really happened. Years ago, I was walking with my friend to the community swimming pool, and we noticed that there was a door slightly open next to the pool. So we decided to go and check it out. It was really dark, but it had a dim light cast from an upstairs area. The far back wall in front of me was aligned with glass, which was very reflective so I could see myself in it. I remembered the legend of Candyman, so I decided we should try it. I had gotten to 3 Candymans when I noticed that the glass seemed to show 2 large red eyes staring at me. I also saw my reflection had changed to me running away with a look of terror on my face. I got out of there as fast as I could before I could even finish the 2 next Candymans. I don't want to know what would have happened next. So that's something that a lot of people have said. They said that when they say it to the mirror, sometimes the reflection is them, or them running away, or them dying. It's almost like the Candyman gives you a glimpse of the future, and it is not good. Now I know a lot of you guys are probably like, oh, this is so stupid, this is just a legend, it's fake. And maybe it is, but there actually was a killer that was named the Candyman back in the 70s. And here's what happened. It was Halloween night in 1974, and the guy's name was Ronald O'Brien. He volunteered to take his son and all of his friends trick-or-treating one night, but what he did next was terrifying. He laced all of their pixie sticks with cyanide. Now the boy's friends went home and didn't eat the pixie sticks, but his son did. He forced his own son to eat that pixie stick right before bed, and then the kid started vomiting right away. They rushed him to the hospital, and the kid died right there on the scene. So then of course the cops came and they were trying to figure out what happened or who poisoned the kid, and then they realized that 2 days before this happened, Ronald O'Brien took out an insurance policy for $40,000 for his kid. So if anything were to happen to the kid, he would get some money. After that, Ronald was sent to jail with the death sentence and was executed. So some people believe that when you call Candyman into the mirror 5 times, you're not seeing the slave, you're actually seeing Ronald O'Brien, the man who really did kill his kids with candy. Now I personally have never tried Candyman before. I was always too scared, but I did have something very bizarre happen to me when I was younger. We were trick-or-treating and me and my mom were going around the neighborhood, and there was a sign, and it was a really creepy handwritten sign that was just like, hey kids, come this way for candy. And I was like, okay, it's Halloween, that makes sense. But then as we were going down the street, there was more and more signs. And then there was a sign pointing to a house with all the lights off, like the creepiest house. There was no decoration. Did not look like they were actually celebrating anything. And the sign on the door said, hey kids, come on inside. Now of course I was with my mom, so she was like, fuck no, we're not gonna go into this weirdo's house. But I do remember my mom warning a lot of the parents around the neighborhood, like, hey, that house, don't fucking let your kids go in there. Well, years later, I found out the guy living in that house was a convicted child molester. So I pray to God nothing happened. I pray to God that nobody fell for that creepy fucking sign. But honestly, it just makes me so uneasy thinking about it. And the fact that stuff like this happens every year, where like creepy guys like put razor blades in candy and kill kids on Halloween, it's fucking terrifying. Speaking of terrifying, it is now that time of the video where we are going to try this out ourselves. So let's go to a mirror. All right guys, here we are. We are at the mirror in my bathroom, and I'm actually really nervous. I know nothing's gonna happen, I mean obviously, but I still get really creeped out by stuff like this because I feel like it's inviting spirits into my house, and we all know that they love my house. So even if we don't see anything, I still feel like maybe there's something there that we can't see. All right, here we go. Okay, so we're gonna say Candyman 5 times. Ready? The Candyman. The Candyman. The Candyman. The Candyman. The Candyman. Okay. He's not here. I don't feel any scary vibes. There's nothing inside the mirror. There was a movie about the Candyman where the girl was looking at the mirror and she said his name, and then the fucking mirror broke and the fucking Candyman pulled through and took his fucking claw and fucking took her head off. So honestly, if that would have happened though, that would have been a really good video. So I'm sorry it didn't. Let's try it one more time. This time we're gonna turn the lights off. Okay, so after the 5th Candyman, I'm gonna turn the lights on and we're gonna see if he's there. Candyman. The Candyman. The Candyman. The Candyman. The Candyman. Okay? He's not there. I got you again! How do you keep falling for it? Oh my god! I mean, it never stops. Well, there you guys go. That was the legend of the Candyman. Honestly, one of the scariest legends ever. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Have you ever had an experience? Have you tried it yourself? Go try it right now. Let me know what happens. Also, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe because I make new videos every single day. And I will see you little Candymen tomorrow. Bye. We're gonna try to healthy this up a little bit with some 100-calorie snacks. Because, you know, like, I'm all about keeping things healthy and portion controlled. Which is why after this, I'm gonna be throwing in a whole ice cream kit. Hey, what's up you guys? Yes, it is another time for us to talk about urban legends. Now today's urban legend is no stranger to the internet because that's where it was created. Today we're going to be talking about Slender-Man. So I'm sure most of you guys know what Slender-Man is or have heard of him, but if you haven't, Slender-Man is a very tall, very thin man with long arms, almost like tentacles. His face is white and featureless. There's no nose, no mouth, no eyes. And he always is in a dark suit and tie. Usually sightings of him have been in the forest or the woods or somewhere very far from society. And if you see Slender-Man, he'll start stalking you. He'll follow you back to your house. He'll look in your windows while you're sleeping. He starts stalking your every footstep. The feeling of being stalked makes you feel like you're going crazy. You start to be paranoid. You start to question everything. You get obsessed with Slender-Man. You want to figure out who he is, why he's following you. Because of this, you get nauseous, you get nosebleeds, you have trouble sleeping, and they call this Slender Sickness. So the legend of Slender-Man was born in 2009 on a forum called Something Awful Internet. It was a photoshopping challenge where you were supposed to photoshop something creepy into an everyday picture. Well, somebody took a picture of a bunch of kids running away from something screaming, and they photoshopped Slender-Man in the background. And the caption under the photo said, "We didn't want to go, we didn't want to kill them, but its persistent silence and outstretched arms horrified and comforted us at the same time." Now this picture went viral because not only did it look extremely real, it was extremely fucking creepy. I think we've all been in a situation where we felt like there was somebody watching us or following us, where you were in the woods and you saw something that looked like a person, and maybe it was a tree. Well, Slender-Man was all of those feelings come to life. Now, ever since that picture went viral, hundreds of other pictures were made or taken, and a lot of people said they had real experiences with Slender-Man. Now, there is kind of a theory that the more you put something out into the universe, the more you kind of create it, it takes on its own creation. Almost like when you put negativity out to the world. If you're negative, 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 eventually your life turns negative. Well, maybe talking about Slender-Man so much has made him somehow real. Now, this blog post I'm about to read you is from a girl who's 18 years old, and she said she had a personal experience with Slender-Man. I'm currently an 18-year-old female, and I live in Oklahoma City. This event occurred when I was 15, and it happened in the same location. My friend lives in a fairly decent neighborhood that was 15 minutes walking distance from a 7-Eleven. Her parents allowed us to make late-night trips there for snacks on occasion. As we were walking down the street to 7-Eleven, there's a park to the left. We were walking past the park, and we could see an extremely tall figure. I recall it being as tall as the branches of the surrounding trees. He seemed to be dressed in all black and extremely pale. I'm an extremely logical person, so I wanted to validate that it was just some strange tall guy. So I shouted hello repeatedly at him. Hello? Hello? No response. The man started coming closer, and we both realized that he had no face. We ran as fast as we possibly could to get back to my friend's house. It wasn't until 2 years later that my friend informed me of the legend of Slender-Man, and I realized that whatever I saw that night looked exactly like him. Now who knows what that girl saw? Maybe she did just see a really tall guy. Maybe it was somebody playing a prank on her. But something that happened in 2014 connected to Slender-Man was extremely real. In 2014, two 12-year-old girls in Wisconsin held down their friend and stabbed her 19 times because they said Slender-Man told them to. The girl was stabbed in the woods and then left for dead. She ended up crawling out of the woods onto the street, and somebody passing by saw her and called the police. She ended up surviving, and those two girls that did it are now in jail. And every time the authorities question them, they say the same thing. Slender-Man told us to. But this isn't the only time something like this has happened. In September of 2014, a 14-year-old girl in Florida set her house on fire while her mom and her 9-year-old brother were still inside. And when the police asked her why she did it, it's because Slender-Man told her to. So whether he's real or not, what is real is the fact that people become so obsessed with him that it starts taking over their brain. So now on to my story. Now, I have a very bizarre story, and I feel like I've told you maybe before in another video or in a podcast, but I remember it like it was just yesterday. I was probably 7 years old, and I was in my bunk bed. I was on the top bunk, and I faced the window, and the window was always open. My mom liked to keep it open because like it would let the moonlight in, and you know, I'd feel comforted by that. But one night when I was laying in my bed, I felt something watching me. So I turned my head toward the window, and what I saw was a man standing there. No face, black suit, and very tall, because we were on the second story. But the scariest thing was, I didn't feel super scared. I felt in shock and confused, and just like this thing was trying to communicate to me, and I thought maybe it was an alien or an angel. I didn't really know. But all I know is it was standing there and it was fucking real, whatever it was. So I jumped out of my bed, I ran into my mom's bedroom, I told her what happened, and she had convinced me, oh, it's just your guardian angel, he watches over you. And for some reason I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Now, as most of you guys know, I have had dealings with shadow people and other stuff like that. I sound crazy. Whatever, fuck it, I'm crazy. I have had dealings with paranormal stuff like that, so it could have just been one of those. But whatever it was definitely there, and it was definitely staring at me and definitely watching me. So I guess my conclusion today is maybe Slender-Man isn't real, but the idea of him is definitely real. We all feel like we're being watched. We all feel like we're being stalked. We all feel like when we're in a house alone, we're not alone. So whether it's a ghost, whether it's a demon, whether it's just the wind, there is something there. Maybe it is Slender-Man. I guess we'll never know. So just make sure whenever you're in a room alone or whenever you're in the woods, always look behind you. Alright, we're good. I got you. You knew I was going to do that. Go on. Well, there you guys go. That was my urban legend today. Let me know down in the comments if you believe it, or if you've had any sightings of Slender-Man. Also, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, because I make new videos every single day. And I will see you little Slender-Men tomorrow. Bye. Alright, here we go. Let's see if this works. Oh my god, I'm so scared. Ah! Oh my god, that was amazing!